Hi, friends. Well, it's been a little bit, so I thought I'd kind of fill you in on what's been going on uh, here as of recent. Couple things that are pretty interesting. I'll start off with the first one. As you know, I managed a cattle and a grain farm operation for a little over 16 years, and for personal reasons, I left. I just was butting heads with the guy, and just we weren't getting along anymore. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was approached by him and his son, and they gave me the opportunity to purchase the farm. Kind of set me back a little bit. I mean, I knew things. I could tell things were in the process of something happening. Before I left, but I didn't know it was going to progress this fast. But anyway, that's kind of been on my mind. I've been cooking that over quite a bit. They're giving me the option to do it before it goes up to auction, which will either be after this particular harvest season or next spring early before it gets planted. But um, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have some ideas. I've been running some ideas over a couple of friends of mine, and they've come up with some pretty good ones that I might do with some of the property if I do get it. But I got a hold of a longtime friend of mine. He's kind of a real estate guru, and he owns quite a bit of property in Iowa, Minnesota, and northern Florida. And kind of run it by him, and kind of as a silent partner. And he's more than willing to jump aboard. He has some ideas that I'm not real keen on that he wants to do with some of the property, but I just that's that's down the road a ways if this even happens. But one of the things that I'd like to do with the particular part of one of the farm's properties, because if you remember, we built a 2 acre pond for access for cattle for water, and that could be easily stocked. It's a really nice pond, and this particular 22 acres is set, right in a stance of some nice hardwood. So it would make a nice place for a luxury RV campground, and that's kind of what I'd like to do. Um, I have a really nice RV myself, but I really don't consider being in a unit, a camper that's got a washer and dryer and a fireplace and ceiling fans. Even I don't consider that camping, but it pleases some of the public out there, and a lot of people are wanting that. I've done a little bit of research, and it's actually a pretty good idea, and Alan thought that it'd be a good idea. So I'm seriously thinking about it. So that's just one thing I wanted to share with you people. I thought, you have the right to know, so you can give some input there. Um, oh yeah, the other thing, real quick, is I want to thank all the new subscribers. It just seems like you keep, coming in nice and slow, and I greatly appreciate it. Again, I've never asked anybody to subscribe or like my channel. But I do appreciate you at least thinking about me, good or bad, and stopping and saying hi. So that's a shout out to all you new ones. I greatly appreciate the jump on board. Let's see. One of the other things is very interesting, and I can't say a whole lot about it right now, but I promise you it might even be an interview situation. And I might have to get a hold of Alan to see if he might want to do this, with me as well. He's got a lot of stuff going on himself, but a gentleman got a hold of me that was on a survival show. And I'm not talking about Survivor. This is a true blue survival show, and he's under a gag order for a certain amount of time. Not just him, but all the participants. And this was a hardcore show, I guess. You really had to know how to survive, and he's an actual professional survivalist. So He got with me, and we chatted for a little bit after, a little bit, back and forth on the email. We felt comfortable enough to where we talked to each other on the phone. Really nice guy, really intense, and I 100% believe him. And I usually don't say that a lot, even about people that I interview, because I don't want, or I talk to, whatever it may be. I always put a little bit of doubt in there because I can't prove any, and I can't prove this either. But just how he presented himself on the phone, and the questions, how quick he answered them without hesitation and so forth. I believe him. 100% believe his experience happened. And I'll just give you a little taste of what had happened on the survival show. He was in his homemade structure that they sleep in, and they all the contestants talked about, after their particular episode was over, they all got together and talked about what they felt, their experience, and all of them felt there was something out there other than what was native to the land that they were surviving on. And these people, they weren't close to each other. They were like miles and miles apart. So there was no way of there was no communication link between the participants. So anyway, they all felt like there was something out there. But his particular case, he was sleeping. He heard something, just this god awful scream. Never heard it before. And like I said, he's a survivalist. He's heard everything from a mouse fart to a grizzly bear, okay? And he couldn't place it. Didn't know what it was. Well, he had a snare trap set up. Thought maybe something was in that. Walked, I think he said 5 to 8 minutes. Pretty rough terrain up a hill to get to the snare. And they have these headlamps. And of course, he was walking down, walking and walking up the hill, so the headlamp was kind of facing more down towards his feet. He got to where the snare trap was and looked up, just with his head, and obviously the light shined on whatever this thing was. And he said it was just a couple second glimpse, but he said what it looked like was a giant human being, a man, in a perfectly made ghillie suit. And I know we've heard that a million times, people, and I've called BS on a lot of it myself. So, I'm not going to hide it and say I haven't. But he said this thing opened its mouth wide and just screamed. It made that just horrible. He says it was like a cross between a mountain lion and a jackal or so. He couldn't explain it. And the thing ran. He immediately called the people within they can get. In other words, there's people there shadowing them to make sure they're not attacked or hurt or anything, but they're not giving any help. In other words, once they're done filming for the week or the day or whatever it is, they're okay. Well, let's go back to the hotel room until next film. Then we'll go out and drop you off in the woods. It's nothing like that. They're really surviving, but there are people a certain distance away that have medical, that basically medical care. So anyway, gets a hold of them on the way that they were supposed to, and they told him not to worry about it. There's nothing out there. This it's already been checked out, and the normal kind of BS, I guess. And he said he kind of felt that maybe they knew that there was maybe something out there. Maybe not when they first started the show, but they realized it after they started filming. But anyway, they went so far as to edit the scene, this particular scene where he's laying in his shelter. You can hear this thing. I mean, you can actually hear it. But he said they actually muffled down the sound, shortened it, and edited some of his reaction. And obviously they edited the reaction of him seeing this thing. So that's about all I can say about his experience, because he is under a gag order for a little bit, and I don't want to give away who this gentleman might be or whatever, but I think it'd be a real cool interview, and it's one of the only ones that I actually 100% believe without question. This man seen something, and then I'll also in a different video give you the circumstances on why out of all the people he could have contacted, okay, this guy, he emails me. It's real crazy how things work, and I don't believe in coincidence. So the other thing is this experience I had with Shiloh. If you remember, Shiloh and I were going to go investigate an abandoned property with a barn on it, and the people claimed that they heard a baby crying or a woman screaming coming out of this barn. Now everything else has been tore down, the house and all that, and they are going to tear down this barn. But the owners of the property want to know if there's anything to it. So Shiloh and I said, sure, we'll check it out, not a problem. It's in extreme southwest Iowa, and we were down there for better part of 2.5, 3 hours, and we were actually getting ready to walk out. We're getting ready to walk to our vehicle. And Shiloh was about, sorry about the noise, people going by with the fertilizer and stuff. Anyway, they were, they lost track. Anyway, Shiloh was about 25 feet ahead of me, and we were about 50 to 75 feet away from the barn, and we didn't hear anything all night, okay, on this property. There was nothing other than coyote in the background and just the normal, nature. That you would hear anywhere else. She was walking ahead, and she said, "Did you hear that?" And I said, "No, I didn't hear anything." And she turned and looked towards the barn, and she goes, "Look at that." Just like that. And I said, "What?" I didn't see nothing, because it was, it wasn't terribly late. It was like 11 o'clock, 11:30. And I just immediately, and all this happened within seconds, okay? So I'm you got to condense this frame of thought here. So I instantly took a picture, okay, with my phone. I figured even if I can't see something, maybe I can get something in the photo and then get home, take a look at it. Well, the very second I pushed that button to take the picture, it was like a bomb went off in front of my face. It was literally like if somebody took a fireworks and set it off right in front of my face. And you'll see the picture that's going to be on this video. And my friend Alan is good with techie stuff, and he runs some filters through it, and which I didn't even think about doing. And he came up with some neat things. And there's a particular, and I'm not going to put an arrow on it or anything like that, but I'll tell you here in a second what you can kind of look for. I don't want to give it away. But anyway, this explosion of light, it was just like fireworks in front of my face, okay? And with that was just like this sonic wave, this sonic boom that hit me in the chest. It hit my whole body. It was just like, maybe if you can relate, if you've ever been to a concert and been right front stage and just that boom, 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 or in somebody's car that had a good system or something like that. It was like that times 10. It put me on the ground. Got back up. I was a little disoriented for about 35, 40 seconds. I wasn't hurt physically in any way, though. There was nothing that came out of like debris. I mean, there was no, nothing that came from this explosion, which was strange to me. Shiloh, like I said, was about 25 feet away from me, ahead of me, and she's seen the light and heard this, but she didn't get any of the effects. She didn't feel any of the reverberation, the sonic shock, I'll call it. None of that. But she did physically, see what happened. I tell you what, people, it unnerved me a little bit. I've never, I shouldn't say I've never been in a situation where, something's exploded in front of me like that, because I have, but this was just completely caught me off guard. It's something that shouldn't have happened where we were at, in that particular scenario. So it just really unnerved me. So, fast forward, Got home, looked at it at the vid, seen nothing. Didn't see anything but these great big big balls of light and maybe these little orbs. And you know me, people. I Orbs to me are a joke. And it's not bad mouthing the people that hold stock in orbs, being I don't know, paranormal energy or whatever they think they are. It's not that. It's just I don't believe in them. I don't unless it has an intelligent travel path or shows some kind of intelligent reason for being there in front of your camera or whatever you're taking the photo with. I just don't, but because there's too many variables. We all know about dust and bugs, and there was one gentleman that even said that he filmed which he knew was a dust orb for 45 seconds that was moving around back and forth and swiveling figure eights, and finally he found out that's exactly what it was a large piece of dust or particle that was actually caught in kind of like a mini vortex that was out there in front of his camera. So you just can't automatically see balls of light, say, yep, they're orbs, yep, they're paranormal, or whatever you think they are, okay? But anyway, there's one I want you to focus on, if you will, and I'm not going to put any arrows or anything like that pointed, but God, how can I say this without giving it away? This thing that I want you to look at will be, it'll be distinctive, okay? And to me, if you look close behind this little spot, it looks almost like a little vapor trail behind it, or maybe you know what a perfectly made ice cream cone looks like. You know, with the little whip on it. It looks like this ball thing or this red mass has like one of those upside down ice cream cones coming off the back of it, kind of that shape. In other words, Casper the Ghost shape, we'll say. So tell me what you think. Very interested. If you think it's a joke or whatever, I mean, any comments I take seriously and I take them to heart. Any tips, any suggestions, I soak them up like a sponge. I mean, that's how you learn. So that's it. Take a look at it. Tell me what you think. If you have more questions about the situation itself that happened, I'll be more than happy to comment about that. But I don't want to say a whole lot because I don't want to get things into your minds to where you think, well, yeah, maybe that is it what he said, or maybe it isn't what he said, or nothing like that. No influence whatsoever. So that's it, people. I appreciate you listening to me jabber, 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 and like always, God bless, Godspeed. We'll chat again.